Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video of mine, and I hope you're all doing well. In today's video I thought it might be interesting if I was to compare a heat press with an iron. So what I'm going to do is I have this onesie right here, and I'm actually going to be putting vinyl on it both with the heat press and with the iron. Then I'm also going to be putting it through the wash and seeing which one comes out on top. I think this video might be great for beginners who are just starting out. They have an iron and they're wondering, is it worth the investment to upgrade to a heat press, and do I really need one? So if this video sounds interesting, then just keep watching. And before we jump into the video, don't forget to subscribe and like this video if it gave you value. First up, I will be using the heat press and then the iron, and I have made up these little sayings right here, heat press and iron, just so we are aware of which one is which. So first up, like I said, we will be using the heat press, and I will put what heat press I have on the screen. It wasn't too expensive as far as heat press goes, but I really do like it. And of course it's an added bonus that it's a pink one because I love pink. And this size heat press is great for doing onesies or anything about this size. What I personally like about this heat press is that you're able to control the pressure, you're able to control the temperature, and it has a timer up here as well. I put it down in the heat press a couple of times, and both times it was on 15 seconds each, the medium to heavy pressure, and let's see how it goes. That was very easy to peel off, as you might have saw. So here is a closer look of the onesie using the heat press, and if I turn it sideways you're able to see that it is completely stuck down. There's no areas that are peeling up, and it was quite easy to peel off. The setting that I have this iron on today is cotton, so close to the max setting. So the iron word will be going just under heat press like so. And it's very important when using any type of heat on clothing to use a heat protecting sheet, so I will pop that on. Like with the heat press, I will be using it twice, both 15 seconds, with medium to average pressure. So let's do it. And again, the iron, like the heat press, just peels away really nicely. And so far I think the results look the same with both the heat press and the iron. And if I just feel it, so it feels pretty much like the heat press. There is no lumps or bumps, so that is a good sign as well. So I will be putting it through one cycle, and I will be putting it in now, and then I will be drying it as well and seeing how that goes. While the onesie is in the wash and while we're putting it through the ultimate test, I wanted to go over a couple of pros and cons that I have with both the iron and the heat press. First, I will touch upon the iron. So the pro for the iron is that everyone has one. It really is a household item. So if you're just a beginner and you are looking to start this, you really don't need to go out and buy much because you have your iron right there. I also like the fact that the iron is a little bit easier to use in the sense that you have it right there. You just get it down from wherever you keep your iron, and then you plug it in and you're ready to go. Whereas a heat press, it definitely takes more time to heat up, and it definitely is more time consuming. And a con that could potentially be with an iron is the fact that maybe the pressure isn't as good as the heat press. So for example, you might be putting what you think is the same amount of pressure onto your t-shirt or the onesie with the iron, but in fact it's not the same pressure. With the iron, a con could be that you're not quite sure of how much pressure you're putting on and if the results are going to hold up over time. So now onto the heat press. A pro I have with the heat press is you're able to control the temperature, so much more so than with an iron. With the heat press, you're able to go up and down and set it to the perfect temperature that you want. So another pro with the heat press is you're able to control the pressure. So you're able to control the pressure much more than with an iron. You can do light, medium, medium to heavy, and heavy. You're able to just do whatever you want. It's also a lot better for your arms, I think. Your heat press might actually also be the ones where it has the mechanical spring in it, where you don't even really need to be putting that much pressure to close it and to open it. So that is a pro as well. So a pro with the heat press is you do have much more control. A con I have could be that it takes up quite a bit more space. So with an iron, like I said, it is a household product, so you just put it away in a cupboard and then it's out of sight. Whereas with a heat press, you really do need room for it. So if you have a small office space or a small room, you might find that there's just no room for it. Even with mine being a smaller heat press, it does take up a bit of space. So you do really need to think about that as well. And another con, or what some people might consider a con, is it does cost a lot more than an iron. They do range in price. You can get cheaper ones, but they can go up to over $1,000 or more. So it really is quite a big investment. So that could be a con as well. And I personally think overall that with a heat press, you are just going to get the more professional results because the pressure that it puts on is greater than what you might be able to do yourself. So over time, maybe the item might be better quality because you've used a heat press, whereas with the iron it might start to peel, but that is just my personal opinion. So currently, like I said, it's being put through the wash and then I will put it through the dryer, and then I will come back and show you those results and see if any has started to peel or anything like that.
One eternity later.
It is finally dry, so we're able now to see how it turned out after being put in the wash, whether the heat press did turn out better or if they turned out the same. And here it is after being put through the wash and the dryer. I personally feel like as of right now there really is no difference between the two, that the iron and the heat press turned out just as well as each other being put through the wash and the dryer. There's not one that started to peel a little bit and one didn't. They're both pretty stuck on, pretty much the same as what they were before I popped them in the wash. So as of right now there really is no clear difference between the iron and the heat press. Like I said earlier, it just depends with the quality over time if the heat press one would last longer. I am really pleased to say that it did hold up in both the wash and the dryer, and both times I turned it inside out and put it on low settings. So in conclusion, I think that the iron is great to start out with. I think it does just as good of a job as a heat press, and as you saw today, the onesie turned out just as well using the iron and the heat press being put through the washer and the dryer. So that's pretty good. I just wonder if over time with the iron, because it's not getting an even press, that maybe it would start to peel up. I just wonder if that would happen. So I think the iron you can't go wrong with to start out with, and then in the future if you want to upgrade, the heat press is the way to go. So that's today's video. I really hope that you liked it and that you got some value out of it and that you find it interesting testing out the iron and the heat press. I think that it was a lot of fun and a great experiment. So don't forget to subscribe and like this video if they're your type of thing, and I will see you in my next one. Bye! In terms of like putting it through the wash and the